Hey guys, welcome back to Japa Decoded, where we share all things immigration, how you can move to the UK and other European countries, and how you can thrive as an immigrant while there. Today's video is something super personal, something I wish I knew before relocating to the UK. If I had known these 10 things I'm about to share with you, it would have made my journey a lot more smoother and a lot more easier. So if you're planning to move to the UK or you're already here and you're feeling overwhelmed, do well to stick around, because knowing these 10 things could be exactly what you need right now to make your journey a lot more easier. Let's dive in. The first thing is the weather is not just cold, it's super really cold. Okay, so you know, coming from Africa, when you hear that the weather in UK is cold, you think it's just something you got. No, it's a different kind of cold. Like, it's the kind of cold that goes straight into your bones that hits you so hard it to affect everything about your body system, affects your productivity. You're thinking, okay, how am I even going to go through this? And you see that blue skies, it's not just like part of the scenery, it's a whole new vibe on its own. Trust me, when coming to the UK, pack more layers than you can even think. A very good jacket here is your friend, trust me. Let's talk about money. The cost of living in the UK is crazy. I'm not even exaggerating. The cost of living will shock you, trust me. From the rent to the utility bills to groceries, everything, it all adds up, and you're like, oh my god. When I first realized how much you will need to live comfortably, I was like really shocked. I was really shocked. And don't even get me started on living a city life or living in big cities like London. Oh my god, I don't even know how people there are like surviving. Okay, so when you move to the UK, the very first few years, you will want to live in affordable cities, okay, in cities that are like cheaper, like in Birmingham, Manchester, for example, in the northern areas or cities around those big cities, if you're someone who likes city life where you can easily commute. And then you want to be shopping in affordable shops like Aldi, like Lidl, like Tesco, and the rest of them. And you want to be budgeting smart and spending less on unnecessary things, on living some kind of luxurious lives that are not absolutely necessary. You would want to be cutting down on such kind of expenses, and you also want to be shopping in bulk and also cooking your meals by yourself. It could save you a whole lot of money, trust me. So that's something I wasn't prepared for from the very beginning, the cost of living in the UK. The third thing I wasn't prepared for is the people here are friendly, but they like their personal space. In as much as they are friendly, they are not as friendly as the environment we're used to way back in Africa. You know, in Africa, everyone knows someone, even if you don't know the person. You know, that cordial relationship of you greet whoever you meet, like good morning sir, good morning ma. You tend to be jovial, and when someone greets you, you could have like one or two conversations, even if you are just meeting them for the first time. In UK, it is entirely different. Everybody like their personal space, and people don't tend to do all of those kind of close upfront greeting, like all of those hugs and greetings at the first time, except it's somebody they're close to. It's not because they have anything against, it's just their culture. They tend to keep their distance and stay in their personal space. I wasn't prepared for that, trust me. But you want to make up your mind on that before relocating to the UK, or if you're already here, you might want to adjust your thinking. Nothing personal, it's just their culture. The next thing is you need to know more about the UK's healthcare system. I love the NHS, the National Health Service. Trust me, it's free for everyone, right? But it's not entirely absolutely free here. Like, you need to register with a GP, for example. Yeah, you need to register with a GP to be able to see one. Some people need to pay for prescription, okay, especially if you're on a visa, I think. And then you would need to know more about the immigration health surcharge. If you're on a visa, for example, you need to know how much to pay and what you can access on it and what you cannot. You need to know about the waiting time before seeing a doctor. So you need to know about all of these things and prepare right ahead for it before you will need it, okay? The next thing is the UK job market is competitive, especially for immigrants. Finding out that it's not just all about your qualification, but having to prove your experience and how you stand out in a pool of thousands of applicants is absolutely something I wasn't prepared for. So you need to know how to prove your experience and proficiency in this role. So be prepared for lots of applications, prepared for lots of interviews, be prepared for lots of questions during your interview, like situational questions like, tell me about a time when you did this, tell me about a time when you did that, tell me about how you can demonstrate this and than that on your road. Like, be prepared for it way ahead of your interview. Okay, so that's something I wasn't absolutely prepared for until I got here. The next thing is people value punctuality here, like really value it. You know, way back in Africa, being 5 minutes late, it's not a big deal. Like, you can be really flexible in Africa, and there's this thing we call the African time, right? Here in the UK, there is nothing like African time, and if you're 5 minutes late, even if it's 5 minutes, it can be considered as really rude. So you would want to prepare your mind for that. Plan your journey ahead. Plan to be at an event at least 5 minutes before the time, be it a job interview, be it a social event, be it your regular job. Okay, they take punctuality very serious. Arriving early for any event or any meeting in the UK is really considered as very impressive, so you might want to pay attention to that. Okay, let's talk about food. It's not as spicy as it is back home. Yeah, like I really miss my pepper soup and jollof rice. So except I get to prepare it myself, there is no way I'll see it. Like when you go to a regular restaurant, you won't get served pepper soup or jollof rice like you would way back in Africa. I tend to find comfort in some dishes like UK's fish and chips, and with time I also tend to make up some English breakfast like toast for myself. Gradually you tend to get used to their food, and in the long run it even becomes cheaper because it is something that is native to them. Buying African food here is actually way more expensive. The next thing is UK's transport can be a nightmare, but the public transport is great. The buses, the trains, the tube, they are quite reliable, so you might want to get like an Oyster card for moving around London tubes. Okay, and you might want to also get the train line app. Okay, it comes very handy, and trust me, you would need it. Like, you would need it if you are someone who travel a lot and who work outside your city or a close by city to you. You will need it absolutely every day, so you might want to get the train line app, for example. And you might also want to get like bus cards. Okay, in some cities you get subsidized rate if you're paying for like a whole day ticket or a weekly ticket or even a monthly ticket. Okay, you will need it, so you might want to invest in that. It is quite reliable. The next thing is homesickness is real, but it gets better. Yeah, the very first few months of arriving in the UK, you're going to feel very homesick. You're going to be homesick, okay, when you start seeing all of the unfamiliar things, the weather, the people. You're going to miss everything that you once knew. Your food, you're going to miss your friends, you're going to miss your family, you're going to miss everything like that was familiar to you. But trust me, with time you get better. When you start making new friends, you start building new communities, you start networking and all of that, you'll be fine. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Finally, here's the last thing I wish I knew. Like, it's not as glamorous as it appears in the movies, on Instagram, you know, all of those pictures, you see all of those videos, the blue skies, the snow and everything. It's not entirely like that. There'll be tough days, trust me. There'll be tough days of struggle with work, there'll be tough days of struggle with family, there'll be tough days of struggling to balance your life, your work, or getting used to the environment, tough days when the weather hits like in winter, there'll be tough days of depression, trust me. There'll be like really tough days of having to deal with difficult people. There'll be tough days of having to deal with bills when the bills are like choking you and you don't know what to do. Tough days of having to manage childcare and every other thing you need to do. There'll be tough days of thinking about your life. Trust me, in the end it will all be worth it. Just hang in there, don't give up. You are not alone. Like, you have like loads of people going through the same thing with you. Just hang in there, look on the bright side. So there you have it. Those are the 10 things I wish I knew before moving to the UK, and I hope it makes your journey a lot more easier. Let me know in the comments what surprised you the most the first time or the first few months you moved to the UK, or share any tips you learned along the way so that others can learn from your experience. Don't forget to share, like, comment on this video. Share it with people who are planning to move to the UK or who are already here and trying to figure out how to move through the system. Until next time, keep thriving and stay focused on your dreams. See you in my next video. Bye bye.